Clover has always been one of my favorite web series, and it's made by one of my favorite singers too, Or3o. I was pretty excited when I saw the trailer. I mean, who wouldn't be? Imagine my excitement when one of my favorite singers just revealed a huge upcoming project. So when the first video dropped, it was needless to say that I was totally invested. And thus, I entered the surprisingly large world of Clover. With only 6 vocal tracks and 4 non vocal tracks, it's crazy that such an in depth story could be found. So, heya, I'm Savvy, part time artist and part time tunester, and in this video, I'll do my best to explain the heartwarming story behind Clover. Well, what better place to start than with the first 2 songs? The series really starts off with the Roaring 2020s, a prologue of sorts to the events of the following series of events. The lyrics here are so nice, wishing us well and hoping that our dark clouds will go away. This relates to the overall theme really nicely, I think. Now, on to the real start of the show, Help Me. And wow, let me just say, great way to kick off the start of a musical-esque album. We begin with a shy 13-year-old girl named Kel, the lucky kitten, sinking in what appears to be water before she quickly wakes up. She is then greeted by some ghosts, Brenda, George, and Dave. These ghosts mean no harm, unbeknownst to her though, so she flees. She calls out for help or an explanation as to what's going on as she runs from the ghosts. And even the way the lyrics are delivered makes it sound like she's ranting and venting about her life. Towards the end, Kel stops running, realizing that the ghosts are only there to help her. However, it almost seems as if she recognized one of them. We'll get more into this and the scene with her grandpa/family friend as it delves into theory territory. But anyways, this leads us to... Aside from Help Me, this is George the Lovable Hummingbird's grand debut, and it really shows off his loving personality. Starting off almost woefully, this song quickly picks up into a happy but hopeful love song about an ex-lover of George's, and how he still loves her the same, even after 100 years. Man, I love this song. The lyrics sound so nice, and I also love the interpretations one can get of his ex-lover from this song, such as her being compared to a sword, which may suggest that she was smart, or her being compared to the dress of a bachelor, which could suggest that she was very well dressed. We don't ever get much insight into who his ex-lover was, even as far as her appearance, because when we do see her in the middle of the song, her appearance is very vague, purposefully so, I think. We may have an idea, but I'll save that for later. Overall, George teaches Kel an important lesson here, to hold on to the memories of your loved ones, even if they aren't there anymore. You may have noticed that I skipped Gentleman here, and I'll probably skip all of the non-vocals here. That's not to say they aren't good though, they really are, and I love how you can see the ghost form of the character in the reflections. It's a really nice touch. Now, it's time for my favorite song. And next up is Brenda, the hopeful bunny, and she makes her boisterous personality known with this groovy song. Everything about this song is just so awesome, from the wholesome message to the heartbreaking or heartwarming story of Brenda, not to mention the awesome electro swing bop that is the instrumental. This song is about Brenda, a dancer who traveled across the world doing what she does best, when suddenly she falls ill with a certain disease that paralyzed her. But despite this, her daughter encourages her to keep on dancing no matter what. Eventually, though, she succumbs to the illness, but just as her daughter said, she's still dancing even in the afterlife. She teaches Kel to always hold on to your dreams even if they seem out of reach. This song is absolutely gorgeous. I already mentioned how great the instrumental is, but the vocals here are nothing to scoff at either. Or3o seriously has amazing voice talent, and you can really see it in this song, especially the way she says no during the ending. Well, with that out of the way, we move on to... This song also starts off in a melancholic way, like 100 Years, but instead of picking up with a nice and smooth guitar like that song, it instead goes with more harsh piano chords, really keeping a type of hopeful, optimistic vibe. Though it's still a very groovy song, and it really gets my foot tapping. This song is about Dave, the faithful wolf. An animator and artist, he stays faithful to his goals, even when he's fired from his job by his mean boss. He has a firm belief that karma is what you make. He teaches Kel to keep herself strong and to strive for her goals, even when others put her down. This song is great. I really love Caleb's voice here, and he really plays the character well, I think. I couldn't imagine any other voice. Also, I love the piano too, and Wubby is adorable. Also featured in this song is an unnamed girl who bears some resemblance to not only Brenda's daughter, but George's caretaker. This is an important thing to note, as this character is almost as important as our main quartet. Now, moving on to the penultimate song. The penultimate video of the Clover series, and honestly, it's been a fun ride. In this video, we see all of the ghosts try to convince Kel to continue living her life. And I really loved this video and its message, and hey, it's the first time we see color in the whole series. The ending really got to me, and overall, it's just been a great series, and everyone did so well. It's sad that it was ending already though, because I felt like I just got to know everyone and it's already over. This may be the end of the story, but it's not the end of the video, because we still have plenty of secrets to discuss. Earlier, I sort of mentioned the non-vocal tracks such as Gentleman and Sugar Honey Iced Tea, but these songs actually hold a secret within them. Both have some form of code in them that, when deciphered, reveals the name Susie. This was later revealed to be the name of Brenda's daughter, as seen in Still Dancing, and likely the same person as seen in 100 Years as George's caretaker, and Karma as the girlfriend slash best friend of Dave. And definitely in Living On as Kel's grandmother. If that is her, which, let's be real, it probably is, then Susie is most definitely the key to all these people's stories, being the daughter of Brenda, the caretaker of George, and the friend slash girlfriend of Dave, being the main motivators in a few of those stories. Outside of that, we can also piece together things hidden from other ciphers and other videos. Now, I'm no expert at deciphering codes or anything like that, so huge thanks to the Clover wiki for pointing these out for me. So in all of the music videos, or it seems like that, Or3o was leaving a trail of breadcrumbs of sorts that, when pieced together, make, no, not bread, but a bucket list of sorts that seems to indicate either plans or future concepts for Clover-related media. Now, this is all really cool, and it's nice to get this type of behind-the-scenes almost type look at the series. And I'm really excited for some of the stuff here. Like a rhythm game? Seriously? That's awesome. Though that's not the only thing hidden in the Clover videos. We've still got some... You may have heard me allude to some of the theories before, such as who the girl is in George's music video. Well, luckily, there is a lot of theories going around, and some pretty popular ones, so I'll talk about 3 of them here. With theory number 1 being... George and Brenda. Possibly one of the most popular theories out there, the one that suggests that George and Brenda were a couple. Before Brenda left to pursue her dreams of dancing all over the world, it may be possible that she stayed for a little bit and had a child with George, and that child would be Susie, who would then follow her mother. We have some tidbits to prove this theory, such as 1. George's ex looking very similar in both body type and hair shape to that of Brenda. Now, this doesn't have to indicate anything, as her appearance is very vague, though it does lend some credence for their designs being so similar. 2. The picture of George's ex. She is seen wearing a sun hat in that picture, the one he has on his nightstand, and that same sun hat can be seen in Brenda's house. Another thing that's similar to this is a note that can also be seen in Brenda's house. This same note, addressed to a Mrs. C, can be seen in George's nightstand. And finally, 3. Susie. As I had previously mentioned, it is thought that Susie was George and Brenda's daughter, who followed her mother across the world in her pursuit of dance. Then when Brenda died, Susie sought to reconnect with her father, who we see her taking care of in 100 years. This theory is very plausible due to the large amount of evidence provided from the music videos and some of the ciphers within the non-vocal tracks, such as the cipher that we used to find out for Susie's name could be found in both George's non-vocal track, Gentleman, and Brenda's non-vocal track, Sugar Honey Iced Tea. Another popular theory is... In the flashback of Help Me, we see that Kel confides to an older man who is possibly her grandfather or maybe some other family friend, though I'm inclined to believe that he is family. So the theory is that Dave is actually Kel's grandfather, and that's why she seemingly recognizes him in the end of Help Me. Dave meets Susie and Karma, and they seemingly begin dating, and since Susie is Kel's grandmother, this would logically make Dave Kel's grandfather. To me, this makes too much sense for it not to be true, and the appearance change between Kel's grandfather and Dave could be chalked up to maybe a disease such as cancer. After all, he is seen with some sort of IV drip in the hospital room. This would also explain why there's a picture of Wubby in his hospital room, as it would lean credence to the fact that he was Dave, as, you know, Dave made Wubby. If this is true, it's really sweet, as we see that Kel's grandfather gives her the Clover bracelet, and then at the end of Living On, Dave helps Kel complete that same Clover. Overall, we could use these theories together in conjunction to piece together a timeline of events that may have happened before the events of Help Me. But before that, there was another interesting theory I wanted to cover. This theory doesn't really account for Dave being Kel's grandfather. Rather, it states that Dave may have been assassinated by his former boss, and the last time we see him is in a theater because he was killed in that theater. And instead of Susie getting married to him, she gets married to a different man, which explains the appearance being so different between Dave and the person that Kel sees in the flashback of Help Me. This theory seems alright on its own, however, it does muddy up the timeline just a bit, as it throws a random character in the mix, that being the one that Susie gets remarried to. Though, on its own, the theory is fine, if not really dark. And now, I suppose we can get ready for the... So this is the segment where I explain my interpretation of the Clover timeline. So, our story begins with Brenda, a young girl who becomes fascinated with the art of dancing, dreaming of dancing for others across the world. Later on in her life, Brenda meets George, and they become romantically involved, eventually having a child. This child was Susie, who along with Brenda traveled the world, pursuing Brenda's dream with her. Though eventually, Brenda would pass away due to an illness. So, after some time, Susie decides to reconnect with George, who is pleased to know that she's doing well and seemingly accepts the death of Brenda, even waiting for her in the afterlife. Later, Susie meets Dave and they presumably start dating, later giving birth to one of Kel's parents, who I presume is Nathan only because he vaguely resembles George. Dave then passed away, presumably due to cancer. Nathan later then meets Samantha, Kel's mom, and has Kel with her. Now we fast forward to before Help Me. Kel, tired of unfortunate circumstances in her life, from her poor home and school life to her grandfather passing, she decides to jump or she falls off of a bridge. Now, in a near-death experience, Kel sees the ghosts of her former family members, each one representing a different time period. George teaches Kel to remember loved ones past, while Brenda teaches Kel to be hopeful for your current dreams, while Dave teaches Kel to remain faithful for what the future may hold. They eventually convince Kel to keep moving forward and to keep living on. Kel wakes up, bracelet in hand, ready to continue living on. There's still a song I haven't talked about, and that's To You. This is largely because it doesn't really fit into the timeline. Rather, I see it as a tribute to the album itself. Though it could be interpreted as a song Cal writes to George, Brenda, and Dave, thanking them for their help. But to me, this song is just a beautiful tribute to the whole album. I love the lyrics, and I even ended up crying the first time I heard it. It's just so emotional, and you can really tell that Oreo put a lot of love into this one. It's truly an amazing track. We don't know where Kel will end up, but we know that wherever she ends up, music producer or not, that she'll be living on, just as she told herself she would be. This series means a lot to me, and I really resonate with the main protagonist. If I had to pick a favorite, it would have been Kel, but well, I just have to say this. It's Susie. As much as I resonate with Kel, Susie is the strongest person ever. She watched her mom slowly lose her life and dreams and still supported her the whole way. Then her father and lover eventually died, and then she almost lost her granddaughter. Damn, and she still stayed strong. Plus, her theme is a bop, even though nobody mentions it, including me up until this point, but dang is it good. Also, yes, I know I've been saying Or3o this whole time. Phew, okay. Well, now that that's over, I'd like to say thank you. Thank you, Oreo, for making a beautiful story of love, hope, faith and luck, life and death. Thanks for making Clover. And thank you for watching this video.